Damn cat taking the shit. Boy, I can smell that over here.
What's the word?
Damn, girl, you stinking,
On March 22nd,
bitch.
2005.
You stinking, mama. Stinking like shit, bitch. Human chili. Ugh. Good thing I don't eat there no more. Ugh.
On March 22nd.
What?
That finger that I cut
So
up
there's
in
been-
there, Cuddy. Fuck.
One of Central C's earliest public appearances in music came in the form of the song Our Time. Released on April the 15th, 2014, the music video featured Central C and Mo West.
It's for YouTube right here, man. Reaction, man. The deleted history of Central C, the life that he tried to hide. Damn, boy. Trap Lord Russ? You be exposing your own people like that? Shit crazy, bro. I like Central C, man. That nigga got some hits, though, bro. Bro, really wavy for real. Why you hating on bro, man?
I'm really back. Niggas out here bustin', boy, they really talking. Rich or shit, fucking talking, nigga. You ain't really in your shit. Oh my god, what happened, nigga? You gon' hear that shit clap. Hey, you trippin' cause I'm fucking on yo through the mic. You gon' get me.
Why you wanna be all this tough ass gangster so you go to jail and shit? Nah, bro. Get your bag. Get your bag up. Let's get the fuck on. Got time for nothing, nigga. God,
One of Central
bro.
C's earliest public appearances in music came in the form of the song Our Time. Released on April the 15th, 2014, the music video featured Central C and Mo West, an early collaborator during C's early music career. Honestly, knowing Central C's hardened persona nowadays in 2025, it's hard not to laugh at how he looked in his less evolved form 11 years ago. It was clear that C was just starting out in rapping. His bars were simple and the production quality was low. And you can tell that he was young at the time because he's got the craziest high-pitched voice. But the lyrics of the song painted a picture of growing up hard, the hardships and pains that he was facing due to poverty and a desperate need to get money. It would be a decent debut for music, with Our Time reaching 1,000 views in the first 12 hours, and later hitting 10,000 views after about 2 months. During this early period, C and his team would refer to themselves as the Jewel Boys. Awful name. But one of the apparent
Jewel
members
Boys.
of the Jewel Boys was Sench's best friend Wads, who was actually profiled in a High Snobiety article about Sench. Young Wads would share a Twitter post giving an inside look. But one of his team would refer to themselves as the Jewel Boys. Awful.
Nigga said Jewel boys. Goddamn, boy. Them jewels. I got them jewels, boy. Stop playing me, boy. I bitch got 10K views. Ain't that bad for your first time dropping a little song. Ain't bad, bro. Remember the first time I dropped, or like a real drop, I'm talking about my first video, that hoe was finna hit 1K in the month too. My cousin ain't want that shit on there. I'm like, bro, I should've kept it on there. I'm like, bro, I shouldn't have listened to your dumb ass. I know that shit would have did numbers, even if that house sounded like ass cheeks. Give a fuck, bro. I was really one of the first niggas out here putting that shit on. Oh, God. My cousin said, no, bro, take that shit down, bro. And I remember when I dropped that hoe, too, 2018. Was it 2017? 2018. 2017, I think. 2018, 2017. Around there. Sometime around there, man. Before the pandemic, that's all I know. And that hoe was finna do stupid numbers, man. That hoe was climbing already. I said, bitch, that hoe had 200 already. And that was like, I had that hoe up for like 12 hours, nigga. 212 hours wasn't bad, bro. Especially back then. The fuck? I had no name back then, bro. I didn't have no types of clout, nigga, back then at all, man. I had, how many subscribers I had? I had like, what, nigga? Why I had like 20 subscribers, bro? God. And that was just dropping like fucking like, that was just dropping the damn audio. I wasn't even dropping no videos and nothing. I wasn't even dropping lyric videos, nothing, bro. Now imagine if I would've kept it up there, boy, I would've had some niggas fucking with it though, bro. Oh God. I don't give a fuck if niggas started clowning, man. I should've just kept it on there. I shouldn't have listened to that nigga, man. I should've just kept that one on there, bro. I would have had that whole on there to this day. God.
This day. To this day. To this day.
Boys was Sench's best friend Wads, who was actually profiled in a High Snobiety article about Sench. Young Wads would share a Twitter post giving an inside look at the original Jewel Boys studio setup. And this really showcased the humble beginnings of Sench's rap career, and also where Central C and Mo West locked in for 2 days recording 9 tracks. On May the 5th, 2014, the Jewel Boys returned with a cover of Jhené Aiko's The Worst. The song featured both Central C and Mo West, highlighting their apparent life in the streets. But interestingly, Central C started the rap by stating that he and his associates are active in the streets or on the roads, and rapping that he had to tell his mother not to worry about him dying due to his risky lifestyle, and rapping how what he witnessed in the streets made him tough and mentally cold, something that Mo West would apparently confirm later in the song, with C going on to elaborate and allude to selling crack on the streets to make money, pointing to his urges to live in a huge mansion. He would also reveal that even at this early age, he had run-ins with the law, being urges to live in a huge... With C going on to elaborate and allude to selling crack...
You sound back and forward, bro.
Reveal that even at this early age, he had run-ins with the law, being apprehended by police, with his mother having to bail him out, and even making references to his father being homeless and revealing that his uncle was in prison at the time. Similar to the first song, The Worst would reach 1,000 views in the first few days, and it wasn't long before Central C released another music video with Mo West. On June 2014, the video for MDK was released, and it featured one of the funniest intros I have ever heard on a rap song. As the piano sample plays before the beat drops, Sench just says "yeah" in the most awkward way. But this song would see Sench rapping that he's really on the roads or in the streets and that his mother doesn't even know, and rapping that him and his friends ride and they die. I feel like this video is the first time Sench's look and flow actually comes across really reminiscent of another singing, rapping sort of street artist, Dappy from N-Dubz. I think at the time, perhaps because of his look or maybe an actual admiration of him, Sench was probably trying to take a lane in the rap game that kind of followed Dappy's success, kind of making music that appealed to the girls a little more than average, but still with a street edge. The music video would feature Central C with a gang of goons riding pedal bikes through the streets of West London, pedal bikes being commonly used in the city for personal transport, an exceptional way to get around if you're running packs. But interestingly, in the video, we begin to see Sench also flexing his fashion taste, heavily repping the clothing brand Trapstar, with Sench and the founders of the infamous streetwear brand actually being from the same place in the city. The brand would become heavily tied to his personal brand and identity in connection with the area he grew up in. Central C would also get a Trapstar tattoo on his stomach. Wow. The song MDK would reach 1,000 views in a few days, and in the same month on June the 27th, Central C followed up MDK with the street-focused song Bang Bang, the track sampling Nancy Sinatra's famous cover of Cher's 1966 song Bang Bang, My Baby Shot Me Down. And the title and the song itself kind of alluded to shootings and street violence and that sort of thing. On the song itself, Central would actually reveal that another member of his family, his cousin, is in jail with apparent blood on his hands. Halfway through the music video, we also see Central C's friend flexing a whole bunch of banknotes, I assume, trapping. Based on his later interviews, we know that Central C said that he began selling drugs around the time that he began music, and the end of this track would feature a sneak peek for an unreleased song, with some interesting bars alluding further to his life as a drug dealer, mentioning that he doesn't hear his phone ringing unless it's money at the door, then saying that he hustles hard on his pedal bike to get money. On July the 5th, the song and music video Fake Love, another Central C and Mo West collaboration, was released. The track was a diss towards any fake friends or fans showing them fake love, but most interestingly, it marked Sench's earliest experimentation with auto-tune, something that he would continue to make use of during this experimental era of his career. But quite frankly, Sench was sounding cheeks on this track. Look, Sench was honestly just awful at rapping, but this is the most formative time when he's actually developing his talent and working towards his 10,000 hours. So despite how terrible it was,
hey man, don't hate on the boy. He was on it. Hey, before niggas, I ain't dropping videos on top of that. What type of nigga you know was on it, man? You know what I mean? Dropping videos and tracks, bro, at the same time, bro. This nigga had to be like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 type shit, bro. Doing that, nigga. I ain't dropped my first video till I was out of high school type shit, boy. My official one, like my first one when I really started going to the studio type shit, nigga. Like a real ass studio, bro. Cause I promise you, bro, my first rap name was, I don't even remember that shit, bro. Like, what the fuck was my first rap name, bro? MPG or some shit. That shit was crazy, nigga. I don't think I can't even find them songs, bro, back then. I think the first track I ever recorded was on a fucking MacBook, bro. And that shit wasn't even on the microphone for real, bro. That shit was on a goddamn, that was on a laptop mic, bro. I was using GarageBand, bro. And I was just recording my voice on GarageBand on my fucking, on my Mac, bro. Yeah, bro, that shit was sounding like shit. I thought I was doing something with that, bro. I thought I was going in. I said, we going through. I'm trying to get my mama crib through that bitch. I was freestyling over like some real OG Texas shit, though. Like that June 27 shit. Oh God, I was freestyle on type shit like that on some SPM shit before I knew SPM was out here diddling kids. You know what I mean? I was on the SPM tip though. I was really heavy in the SPM at that time, bro. God, bro, I was really influenced by SPM and shit, bro. SPM, Lucky Luciano, all them H-Town boys, man. All the Hispanics from H-Town are really, that boy T. No, I was really Texas inspired, bro. God, I was going crazy. I'm gonna see if I can find them all. I'm gonna show y'all niggas, man. I ain't got no shame, bro. Cause when I really turn up, niggas gonna love that. I'm like, damn, this nigga humble enough to show his whole journey. For real, nigga, 10 years in the game too, bro. I got 10 years just like this nigga, man.
He continued dropping whack tunes.
Except I ain't had no music videos, bro. I wish I did, bro. What? I wish I had a nigga out there recording videos for a nigga, man. I would have been even stupider, bro.
Non-stop and leveling up. On July the 13th, Sench dropped his newest solo song, Moneybound. This was another experiment in making more American-inspired trap hustle rap, with Sench rapping all about how he was riding around the city making
that's real though. Like,
money
that
and
nigga
selling
been
rock
out here putting in work for this shit,
on his
bro.
pedal bike. By April 2015, the track had garnered over 12,000 views. But following Moneybound, C would go missing for more than 4 months. However, his return would come with the release of a series of freestyles shining a light on his new music. The first one, called Personality Freestyle, was released on November the 4th, 2014, which upon release got him noticed by Grime Daily, one of the top UK music platforms, that tweeted that fans need to keep an eye on him. The outlet also noted that despite Central C being incredibly new to the game, he showed a lot of promise and urged people to keep a close eye on him. Interestingly, noting his age was just 16 at the time. Now, that freestyle has been duly scrubbed from the internet, so I didn't even find a version of it to listen to. But on November the 6th, 2014, this would be followed up by another freestyle that he did with legendary icon of rap radio Charlie Sloth on his Fire in the Streets freestyle series. But once again, this is another freestyle that's been completely wiped from the internet. A freestyle that GRM Daily also covered in an article revealing that at the time, Central C was the youngest ever person to perform on the Fire in the Streets series. Now, these two freestyles are impossible to find on the net today. However, we do know that they put Central C's music in the ears of the surrounding hip-hop community. 2015 would be the year that Central C would begin to gain a minor buzz in music, but more importantly, continuing to develop his skills and getting more feedback from fans. With the little bit of recognition that he had, C would explain to Adam 22 years later how he even started renting out his own venues to put on concerts, actually making a small profit.
I started putting on my own headline shows. I done one in Hoxton Square Bar and Kitchens, like 300 people, but I done the venue myself. I rented the venue, I sold it out, and I made like a good few £1,000, which was a lot to me back then. But I still had a job on the side.
On a rooftop as he performs this love song, with the song actually starting with a filtered sample from Justin Bieber's track Change Me. It's clear that Central C was specifically targeting the lucrative teenage girl audience that spent part of their day perfecting their pic collage skills to make cringy tributes to their new favourite Dappy clone. But Central C's new female-focused lane was just opening up, and it was time for him to solidify his style with a longer project. On April the 22nd, 2016, Central C released the 6-track mixtape Bipolar, released in 2016 when C was 17 years old, but with material that was apparently all recorded when he was 16. The topic of bipolar being something that was referenced by Central C in his later music, with Central often speaking about his mental health issues that he's faced throughout his life, like on the track Cold Shoulder, where he equates contrasting intense emotions that he experiences in his life to being similar to feeling like Jekyll and Hyde, or his track Entrepreneur, where he speaks on going through highs and lows. But the first track of the Bipolar mixtape is called Intro, and it includes a disjointed trap beat with a jazzy tune to it. The track has a 16-year-old Central C rapping some pretty mediocre bars, speaking on the different influences and lessons that have made him a man at this point, learning manners and words from his mother, handling himself like a man on the streets like his father, and the importance of prioritizing positive relationships in these streets. On the track Thug Music, Central C raps over a piano-supported moody boom bap beat, promising thug music on the title, but only delivering pretty mediocre bars in the track. He talks about him and his friends robbing people and rolling around with flick knives. Then on Slew Era, the second track of the mixtape, it includes a spacey, ethereal beat that wouldn't be out of place on an early Kid Cudi mixtape. But you can really tell that Central C is rapping from the perspective of a 16-year-old, with suspect lines saying that he's the reason his school had to put locks on their changing rooms. On the track I Don't, Central C raps over Eminem's Marshall Mathers beat in an angsty song that unfortunately highlights just how basic of a rapper he was compared to Eminem. And while we don't have the statistics from releases on other platforms on other channels, this mixtape was originally released on YouTube through the Link Up TV Tracks channel, which only posts audio. Arguably, the tape was a flop, making minimal noise, with none of the tracks even reaching more than 1,500 views even today after the fame. But Central wasn't discouraged. Just a month after dropping his mixtape, C released the song and music video for Before It's Time, time. It was a significant improvement, perhaps the result of lessons learned. Before Its Time is a song about the growth that he experienced over the last 2 years. The video would start with C arriving to a decent-sized crowd of mostly girl fans, a scene which I personally think looks completely staged, but essentially attempted to position Sench as a much bigger star than he actually was at this time. And the video contained flashbacks to his early music videos, and flashbacks to previous relationships with him and a girl, potentially an ex-girlfriend, all an effort to showcase this song and Point in Time as an important leveling up moment for Central C's career and life. The music video showcased him meeting some of his fans, mostly girls, and handing out hoodies with Central printed on them, which at the time was all part of his side hustle to make a bit more extra cash. However, the song also offered a glimpse into Central C's real-life struggles, rapping about his unstable home life and moving around a lot. Before Its Time received over 2,000 views on YouTube on its release day, and this would also be the year where we would first start to see Central C organising more shows, such as this one advertised on Twitter in July 2016 at the prestigious O2 Academy Islington with an impressive capacity of 800. Now, funnily enough, this night was actually hosted by one of my best friends, content creator and rapper 96 Honcho, who even sent me some exclusive clips from the night. Central C was certainly taking Fake It Till You Make It to brave new highs, but it would certainly still be quite some time until he truly made it. More than a month later, on July the 18th, 2016, Central C drops the song Good Girl, later included on his 17 mixtape. The music video included a cameo from some members of the Shepherd's Bush Gang 12 Anti, including YG, seen here to the left of Central C. With some light auto-tune and a booming trap beat, Central C admits to losing a good girl for a bad one and boasts that none of them are average. But if you ask me, this song was incredibly confused. It's like he wanted to make a song that appealed to the ladies and the gangsters, but he ended up doing neither. And that's really the story at this point in his career. Confusion and a lack of focus, but also heaps of determination and experimentation. Not more than a month later, on August the 9th, 2016, GRM Daily would feature Central C for an edition of their Hardest Out freestyle series. The track was a nice refresher of Central C's technical rapping skills, and thankfully, it was straight bars, no auto-tune. To be honest, this was one of the better Centch freestyles, and he must have rated it too, because this is one of the only freestyles still publicly available on YouTube at this point. Still, not overperforming any of his previous tracks, the freestyle would garner just over 3,000 views in a day, and more than 17,000 views by next year in July 2017. And even today, after all of the fame, this freestyle is still sitting just a touch over 40k, just showing how little interest there actually is in these formative songs from the start of Centch's career. But aside from the lackluster numbers, the appearance was a breath of fresh air for fans like this YouTube commenter who had been listening to all of his Loving on Girls songs, a comment that Centch most likely didn't read, because a week later, on August the 16th, 2016, he dropped the love song Pull Up, possibly considered the most infamous song in his early discography, a song that best exemplifies the sound that Central C was going for at the time, fully focused on his female audience. The song included C asking for someone loyal and committed to him, unlike all these other women, in a style completely different from the confident Central C that we know and love today. And on the track, he sings and raps with auto-tune on a Caribbean-style hip-hop beat, coming with auto-tuned raspy bars that I can only describe as RD meets Dappy on a Freshers' Night Out. At the time, Centch must have believed that he could have broken into the music industry through his female following, but this strategy proved unsuccessful. And this song went down as one of the most cringe and embarrassing attempts of Centch to have been taken seriously in music in his whole career, leaving this song as being often referenced by those who label Centch as a wannabe gangster and having a fake persona. Today, the re-uploaded music video on YouTube is mobbed by comments saying that puberty was a huge part of his success, thanking God that he switched up his style. And despite being released all the way in August of 2016, Pull Up would gain as little as 10,000 views over the next few years, sitting at just 12.
They talk shit, but you ain't in the position though, bro. Get millions, bro. You ain't in that position, man.
1,000 views by November 2020 before the original version was deleted. His small army of ravenous female fans weren't enough for him to achieve the numbers he wanted or needed. But joking aside, I really admire Centch's determination to keep going, experimenting and working out what people actually wanted to hear from him. And he wouldn't stop or be discouraged by the haters like me pointing out that his music was diabolical at this time. On September the 6th, 2016, Centch dropped one of his first collaborations with someone who would end up being considered as one of Centch's day one homies. Longtime friend Bambino had actually met Central C in Brighton a few months earlier, just by coincidence, days after he had just seen a song of his on social media. Centch and Bambino go way back at this point, being seen recording in a studio together as early as March 2016. Their new track would serve as Central C and Bambino's first collaboration, and in hindsight, a pleasant memory for a relationship that would ultimately turn sour, with a salty Bambino later calling out Centch for not giving him another feature after he became famous. Anyway, Centch wouldn't drop for the rest of the year, and despite creative setbacks, C continued to grind and craft his sound over the next few years, steadily improving his style. Interestingly, this period from 2014 to 2017, Central C would rather forget. Many of these early songs and freestyles have been deleted from the internet, and in a Guardian interview only years later, he claimed that he only started putting out music in 2017, and calling his style inspired by melodious trap wave using auto-tune and making, as Sench called it, pretty boy music. At the end of February 2017, Central C would feature on Bambino's track OT, and while not available on the internet today, it would be their second collaboration. Then, Sench would announce the drop of his second mixtape EP, Nostalgia. Dropping on March the 10th, 2017, the 5-track mixtape featured a cover of Central C, flowers in hand, looking like a romantic Spanish lover from a telenovela. This release, tailored for his young female audience, featured tracks like the seductive Baby Cakes, the romantic-driven Getaway, and the heartbreak young C, flowers in hand, looking like a romantic Spanish lover from a telenovela.
Oh God!
This release, tailored for his young female audience, featured tracks like the seductive Baby Cakes, the romantic-driven Getaway, and the heartbreak anthem You've Been. And Central was getting in full dappy mode on this project. On track 2, Baby Cakes, Central C reimagines the hook from the classic song Baby Cakes by British garage trio 3 of a Kind, and puts his own twist on it, even channeling his inner Chet Hanks and adding a cringe-inducing sprinkle of patois in there. While the full music video is difficult to find, in this snippet on Twitter from the music video of track 3, Getaway, we see Central C oozing autotune and linking girls on his West London estate. Overall, this mixtape saw Central C leveraging his good looks and female fanbase in an effort to make it big in the industry, but it still wasn't getting him traction. On the same day Sench dropped his Nostalgia mixtape, Sench and Bambino would be seen together for a joint freestyle on the Black Box YouTube channel. Central C would start on this guitar-supported dark rap beat with a few humorous bars about females, and Sench would claim that if he shoots, his whole gang would shoot behind him, as well as dropping numerous bars about selling drugs. This was another effort that didn't really land, and even today this freestyle is still public, sitting at only 30,000 views. At the time of release, commenters questioned why Sench kept singing tunes if he knew how to rap, pointing out that he's fire and that he doesn't need this garbage auto-tune, continuing to encourage Bambino and Sench to actually rap more often. Not long after, on the 21st of March 2017, C would make a guest appearance on the UK rap show Rinse FM hosted by Morgan Keeves. And although this appearance was one of the less exciting freestyles, featuring an unprepared Central C reading bars off his phone and occasionally messing up whole words, he was heavily criticised in the comments, questioning how he's coming to prove himself without even knowing his lyrics, and shaking their heads at him reading the bars off his phone, with it getting so bad that multiple comments even had to come to his defense, telling the haters to let the kid shine and saying that reading bars doesn't necessarily make him a bad rapper. This freestyle was a step in his journey that few people would get to witness live, with his UK rap show appearance ending its first 24 hours with only 157 views. But he kept on cooking and working regardless. In April the 24th of 2017, we would see another Sench live performance as a supporting guest, this time alongside future collaborator and somebody actually good at using autotune, Young Fume, for his headline show. And if that name sounds familiar, it could be from Young Fume's December 2018 track Secrets featuring Chicago's Lil Durk, or his other Lil Durk collab, the track Help You Out. But anyway, the performance, this time in a club setting, kicked off with Central C telling the small audience to join in and have fun even though they didn't know his songs.
We're gonna turn up, innit? If you don't know the song, yeah, just turn up with me, vibe with me, innit? Hey, hey, hey.
Starting his set with the recently released track Pull Up, and closing out with Good Girl. But despite the small crowds, at least he was rocking shows with confidence and still dropping tracks. But music didn't seem to be C's only endeavor at this point. Capitalizing on his looks, he would continue to be seen modeling for minor fashion brands in the industry, such as a May 2017 campaign for Crep Plug. It would be this specific jacket that he would actually wear in the cover art of one of his future projects. Modeling for Sench was a good way to make some extra cash and gain some free promotion. But soon, he'd be back with his biggest project to date. On June the 14th, 2017, releasing his third mixtape, the 8-track EP called 17. The tape essentially defined him as a trap wave artist, fully incorporating auto-tune with hard-hitting beats, street-oriented lyrics, and love songs with the emotional qualities of wave music. The second track, Do You Believe, has Sench rapping and singing about girls again on a heavy baby-making R&B type beat, adding in some hot and heavy lines for his female audience, and I have to assume a few of his male fans were vibing to it too. After all, how can he be homophobic? He would sing about spending money on his girl just so the fan R&B. The spin with 17 to date was a good way to this specific jacket that he would actually wear in the cover art of one of his future projects. Modeling for Sench was a good way to make some extra cash and gain some free promotion. But soon, he'd be back with his...
Ain't shit wrong with that, bro. Get some money, man. I got a homegirl trying to make me model too. I'm like, hey, when that paper coming, hey, I take the checks, baby. Let's get this model up. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I ain't no ugly ass nigga, man. I got that face, you heard me, for that camera, you heard me.
Biggest project to date. On June the 14th, 2017, releasing his third mixtape, the 8-track EP called 17. The tape essentially defined him as a trap wave artist, fully incorporating auto-tune with hard-hitting beats, street-oriented lyrics, and love songs with the emotional qualities of wave music. The second track, Do You Believe, has Sench rapping and singing about girls again on a heavy baby-making R&B type beat, adding in some hot and heavy lines for his female audience, and I have to assume a few of his male fans were vibing to it too. After all, how can he be homophobic? He would sing about spending money on his girl just so that they can make it back together in the bando, and Sench was going much deeper down the hole of making music for the ladies, and perhaps he didn't realize, but this lane would ultimately be a dead end for him. Despite being a master of fake it till you make it mentality, Sench was still very much faking it and not quite making it. On June the 19th, 2017, the B.A.M. Next YouTube channel would give a rare glimpse into Central C's live shows, performing to a crowd in a skate park as he begins his performance with the song Good Girl. Performing to an enthusiastic but small group of friends at the front, jamming to his music, the rest of the attendees at the show remained pretty uninterested. Then on the 26th of June 2017, Cench would join forces with Cairo Keys, aka Lil KG5, on a full-on dancehall track sampling The Dream's I Love Your Girl. The Afrobeat-inspired track really had Cench trying his hardest to bring those Caribbean vibes that he'd been soaking up every year at Notting Hill Carnival, and this would be the first of many collaborations between Cench and Cairo Keys, who were clearly strong influences on each other's music at the time, but once again, that relationship too would sour sometime later. While the song came with a music video at the time, once again this has been completely scrubbed from YouTube, but as 2017 went on, Cench was still rolling and building up a small but dedicated fan base who would gush over his fits on Twitter, with Cench playing into the female fan base too, posting thirst traps to bait more female-led engagement. But even if the music wasn't paying well, at this point he at least was getting other opportunities and continuing to make links in the fashion world, modeling for a July 2017 campaign for the London streetwear label Marbeck, and a week after that, on July the 31st, Cench would drop his song Over You, a heartfelt track about him explaining his experiences, most likely to a girl, that led him to choose to be self-dependent. Over You starts with an auto-tuned Central C bluntly letting a girl that he will only cry over his mother, as he explains that he's been taking care of himself since being a child when he used to wet the bed and have to change it himself at the age of 5. Yeah, thanks for that, Cench. He would make reference to money not being able to fix bed, cry over his mother, as he explains that he's been taking care of himself since being a child when he used to wet the bed and have to change it himself at the age of 5. Yeah, thanks for that, Cench. He would make reference to money not being able to fix him and his family's issues, as well as a desire to pay back his ex-girlfriend's family for making him the person he is today. He would also ironically call out the gangsters shooting in his area for thinking they're hard. The track is included on Cench's CS EP Volume 1 and is one of the few songs still available from that project. Central C's fourth project was released at the start of September 2017. The project would have 2 features from Bambino, and other than a couple of tracks that we've already mentioned that were released earlier, all the other tracks from the CS EP Volume 1 have been scrubbed from the internet too. This latest project also continued a similar genre of auto-tune tracks that was still a heavy part of his music arsenal, tropes that Cench would continue throwing at the wall throughout 2017 and 2018. On August the 15th, 2017, Cench would be seen in an extremely sus shirtless Snapchat post meant for the ladies prior to a show. Cench with his hands down his shorts, a pose that would later become iconic for him as his career progressed. Later in September, he would also release another auto-tuned love track, this time called Side Chick. The song artwork would feature a more mature-looking Cench rocking an epic sleeve tattoo on his right arm and that diabolical man bun. During this time, he continued playing shows.
Cool for October, YCYD show, Gloucester, I'm in Gloucester, I'm in your town, everybody make sure you come through. Go get your tickets now, gang.
And at the start of 2018, Cench would drop another track rapping to Lil Baby's song, Freestyle. Once again rapping with auto-tune, Cench would shed light on the long hours that he spent trapping at night in the freezing cold. And he would continue modeling this same month, being pictured in a campaign for streetwear label Gone Club, but his profile would be much lower in 2018. It would be several months later when he released again on July the 15th, when he would drop the track Wake Up, an upbeat trap track with a touch of auto-tune that frankly sounded like this time he was doing his best impression of Young Fume. The song was all about how Cench uses money as his alarm clock because chasing the bag is all that gets him out of bed in the morning. He mentions his brother whipping up drugs in the trap to make money and warns his ops about the dangers of visiting his area. In October, Central C would drop his final track of 2018, titled Running Man, with the music video being released the next year. Still rocking the auto-tune, a noticeably heavier voice Central C raps about apparently running off with drugs from the plug, something I frankly can't imagine him doing. But interestingly, this song was also the first time that C mentioned his branding and team philosophy, Live Your Movie, or LYM, which later became Live Yours, a slogan that fans would seemingly gravitate to, and something that became the basis of an impressive jewelry collection years later. Cench's last music drop of the year would be on October the 15th, 2018. This would be another remix to Lil Baby's song, Drip Too Hard. Cench's Drip Too Hard remix showcased him flowing on the beat in his unique tone and delivery, combining singing and rapping with the heavy use of autotune that we have come to know and despise. And he would be seen rocking his new Live Yours merchandise throughout the whole video. By the end of 2018, Central C had barely established himself as an underground rapper. The fact was, things weren't really taking off for Central C rap-wise. His freestyles and solo drops rarely crossed over 20,000 views months after their releases, and despite a few rare exceptions, even Cench's pretty boy raps weren't taking off. By the end of 2018, we were entering peak UK drill. The year concluded with Russ releasing his song Gun Lean, a shooter's anthem which came with a jiggy dance, taking the most gangster, gun-toting rap music in the UK and commercializing it. And going jiggy dance, taking the most concluded with Russ releasing his song Gun Lean, a shooter's anthem. We were entering peak UK drill. The year
Russ from the United States, talking about Russ. Who the fuck is Russ?
Included with Russ releasing his song Gunlean, a shooter's anthem which came with a jiggy dance, taking the most gangster, gun-toting rap music in the UK and commercializing it. And going into 2019, all the attention in the UK rap game was on the gang-banging demons really shooting and stabbing people in London and having the confidence to rap about it openly. Particularly, one UK drill rapper who gained a reputation in the streets as one of the most ruthless was the old schoolmate of Central's, Digga D. So in 2019, Central C had the bright idea to copy the flow and make his music much more street-oriented, capitalizing on the gang mentality that was sweeping the UK drill scene at the time. And this would wind up being a huge success for C, whose career went from strength to strength. The only problem was that Centr was never really in the streets like that. In fact, while Central C was playing around with auto-tune and trying to crack the music industry, Digga D had been knee-deep in a West London gang war, actually doing the things that all the drill rappers rapped about, and then making music about it effortlessly and authentically, capturing the hearts of drill fans all over London. And as years went by, dominance for the West London drill scene has truly become a battle between Central C and Digga D, but beneath their rap rivalry was also a very real and deadly gang war between two warring West London postcode gangs that eventually Digga D and Central C became the respective faces of. And by the time that both of them made it in music, West London streets were hotter and more dangerous than ever, and eventually this street war would make its way into music, with both rappers becoming the generals of two very dangerous crews who couldn't help but bring their deadly gang warfare right into the music industry.
Oh really? Oh really? It get deadly in the UK like that, nigga? Fuck ain't talking about?
In West London, the gang politics have evolved a lot over the years, but in the modern day, there's just a handful of sets that are the most significant when it comes to the affiliations of West London's most.
It get deadly like that in the UK? Stop playing with a boy, man. Ooh, nigga. How censored? Ah, fuck, my English is fucked, boy. I know them niggas in the UK cringing, bitch. What you talking about, bitch? I said, how Central C and Digga D feud turned to violence. How though, nigga? Let me know what the fuck. How that happen, brody?
In West London, the gang politics have evolved a lot over the years, but in the modern day, there's just a handful of sets
Trap Lord Rudd. God damn, it's almost 4:30. Got loud, man.
that are the most significant when it comes to the affiliations of West London's most infamous rappers. As mentioned before, the gangs in the streets of Shepherd's Bush, where Central C spent his formative years, would eventually break into two main gangs, 12 World and 12 Anti. Meanwhile, their ops in rival hood Ladbroke Grove would begin to call themselves 1011. 12 World was known for particularly two main rappers, Sav 12 and S1, while other lesser known members would include guys like R2, TR2, SJ, Paps, Nico, SB, J-Trap, and J-Jugs. 12 Anti, who were at least at the time very close with 12 World, is nowadays best known for seemingly being the main gang that Central C associates with, while other rappers from the gang include guys like F. Box 12, Little Catty, A2 Anti, Two Things, Bankroll Bugs, S2 Saucy, and Longs, aka Hamilton. 1011, on the other hand, is of course best known for Digga D, while their other known rappers include guys like ZK, Savo, K-Sav, aka Loose One, Horrid One, M Scum, TY, Dodgy, Striker, Rack 5, Splasher, Sini Say So, JDF, and Johnny 5. Now, it's not clear exactly what started the beef between Shepherd's Bush and Ladbroke Grove, but once things went sour, they would soon begin escalating. An old clip, allegedly from 2016, but more likely from 2015, can still be found online, where a group of youths from Shepherd's Bush actually catch and confront a young Digga D, pressuring him to say F the Grove and F Johnny, aka Johnny 5, one of their biggest rappers at the time, and according to some, the leader of the Ladbroke Grove gang, which would later become known as 1011.
Where you from, fam? What? Bro, so you with that youth? You them? You got these youths? You got that young Febby or any of them? Have you got these youths? Speak up, open your fucking ass, fam. Speak up, fam. Open your fucking mouth and my talking to you with these youths.
Where you from, fam?
So what? Have you got these youths? Are you involved in them? Are you involved? You want anyone from
Pussy, fam? Them niggas talk funny out there, man. Talking about some pussy, fam.
Bush? I didn't think.
They talk funny, I ain't gonna cap. Pussy, fam.
So. You're not involved. No, we're not involved. You're not involved. Say Johnny, bro. Say bro. Johnny, say Johnny. Say Johnny. Say it. Go on, say it in your face. Johnny, fuck you.
Digga has since rapped about this incident on numerous occasions, like on his intro song for the album Naughty by Nature in 2022, where he mentioned that it happened on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, and that he brought himself a shotgun soon after to protect himself, as well as ending the song saying that after buying the dots, or shotgun, he then got the nickname Shotty Shane as he begun his Get Back campaign, even accusing the Shepherd's Bush members of turning him into a demon in the streets. In May 2016, Digga would drop his first music video called Hella Bands, where he can be seen in Grove with the rest of the 1011 members, AR916 as they were going by at the time. But this is a track all about trapping, specifically cooking up good rocks, and there's no real disses to specific ops in the song other than just generic references to rivals. But Digger does make it clear that he's well armed, even mentioning the shotgun that he'd supposedly bought after that incident with the Shepherd's Bush members. The music video would also show that the police were watching their block, as they would literally pull up and chase 1011 members away from their own video shoot. A few months later, in July, 12 World rapper Sav12 would drop a song originally titled 12 over 10, although the title has since been changed to No Hook. The song's reference to 10 appears to be a clear diss towards the W10 postcode, which guys from Ladbroke Grove like Johnny 5 would be repping on their social media at the time. And saying 12 over 10 essentially means that his crew from 12 World are above the 1011 crew. As only a few months later, he would also drop the song Let's Get It, where he would repeat the same lyric, whilst making it clear he was talking about their ops. However, in general, both sides would keep releasing music with rather generic disses towards their ops, until November 2016, when Digger would drop the song and music video simply titled The Truth. The music video would show a young Digger surrounded by masked up goons, while he would rap bar for bar, dissing numerous ops explicitly by their names, many of these being Shepherd's Bush members like a guy called Guaps, and Creep Sav, aka Sav12, saying that he left his bike and ran when one of Digger's members pulled out a gun on him. Digger would once again mention the time that he had been pressured to diss his own gang, saying how he had got a gun afterwards, and seemingly admitting that his friend R9 got arrested for the same firearm. The self-snitching would continue as Digger would also seemingly admit that his gang had stabbed an op called L1, this actually being a female member from Shepherd's Bush, with Digger actually bragging on another song called Violence that the gang will stab their ops regardless of gender, and that they stabbed up L1 because she was from 12 World, as well as saying that he stabbed the boss of his rival gang the same way that his friend had scored on Harrow Road rapper from the Mozart estate Fredo, an apparent reference to an incident where Fredo was stabbed by a 1011 member named CJ at Carnival, apparently leading to a retaliation days later where CJ was stabbed in the eye. Digger would then end the song by saying how he's shooting people from Notting Hill Gate to the end of Bellow or Portobello Road, meaning basically the entire W.
Man, that shit personal though, bro. Once a nigga start stabbing shit up, that's real personal though, nigga. It hit different when you start throwing bullets and shit, but once you start pulling with knives and shit, stabbing niggas in gut, that shit personal, bitch. You getting real personal, seeing nigga eyes, you know what I'm saying, life, you know what I'm saying? God damn, boy. Seeing a nigga life far from their eyes type shit, bro. You see they solely their body, that shit crazy. Remind me of El Salvador shit, nigga. Niggas pull out machete and start slicing shit. Don't even got guns. It start mowing you down with a machete, boy. That's how it was in my country in El Salvador. They bust your ass. Don't even got guns. Fuck a gun. They'll cut your ass up over there. Back then, not no more. Now it's chill. We be chilling out there, man. Should be like paradise out there, bitch. You know what I mean? Just like an island, bitch. I be on the beach with my feet kicked up, not worried about shit.
11 and W10 area that he reps, and that the beef can't be settled, and that's why he keeps a gun on him. Songs like The Truth would help 1011 to gain momentum in the UK drill scene, as they were one of the first groups to go so in detail about the specific crimes that were going on in the area. However, in 2017, their unfiltered style would escalate to the next level after the brutal murder of a 19-year-old named Abdullahi Tarabi, better known in the UK drill scene by his nickname T-Wiz, who surprisingly was from nowhere near 1011's area. Instead, T-Wiz was allegedly a member of a gang called N-Gang, located all the way in the town of Northolt. This area has its own gang rivalries, one of which was between N-Gang and another gang called Rayners Lane from a suburb with the same name. In April 2017, T-Wiz would leave his home around 3 PM to go to a nearby store, where he would allegedly run into youths from Rayners Lane. Wiz would allegedly have some kind of confrontation with these youths, after which 2 of them would begin to chase him, and T-Wiz would take off running, eventually ending up in an alleyway where he would seemingly see his brother yelling at him to go and back the Ramsey, meaning to go and get a Rambo knife. Unfortunately though, while his brother seemingly went to get his knife, T-Wiz's attackers would catch up to him, hitting him with their knife in the abdomen, this stab wound cutting a major blood vessel and leaving part of his intestines hanging out. Soon after, an ambulance would arrive and take him to a hospital in North London, where T-Wiz would unfortunately pass away from his injuries. Years later, his sister would give a recount about the events of that day to the VE Media YouTube channel.
So, looking back at the CCTV footage, how it exactly happened was, while I was at the fun fair, he said to me, he made Weetabix, and he said to my mum told him to hoover. He said, okay, he brought the hoover from upstairs to downstairs, and he went outside to the shop. He goes, I'm come back, I'm a hoover. So when he was at the shop, he saw his ops, and then my house was 2 minutes away. He could have easily went back home, but the thought of like bringing danger to my mum's doorstep, he never went back home. He went the opposite direction. Then he ran and they chased him, and then he ran into an alley. And then outside the alleyway, when you leave the alleyway, it's a really short alleyway. When you leave, the first door was the door that he needed to go to.
Damn.
But he got out of breath inside the alleyway. Then he started fighting. And as he started fighting, my other brother, he saw him. And then Abdullahi said, it's okay, just go back to Ramsey. Like, he was basically saying, I'm gonna fight them off, you go and get them, you know? So my brother goes all the way home and he comes back, and when he comes back, it's too late. The men are not there anymore, and Abdullahi's on the floor. And it's a very gruesome sight, and the CCTV footage of the house shows you everything, like, to the T, even the noises. It was just very wild, and I got PTSD from that.
As his sister mentioned, T-Wiz's broad day execution was even captured on a nearby security camera, and with the staggering amount of CCTV cameras in London, it wouldn't take long for the police to find their suspects, and they would arrest 4 teenagers on suspicion of carrying out the attack, which was followed a few days later by 2 more arrests, with these 2 getting charged with the actual murder the following day. The younger one would turn out to be a teen named Tamba Momodu, better known in the streets as T. Rose, likely getting his nickname derived from the infamous Chicago teenage driller D. Rose. However, later that year in October, after a 2-week trial, both charged teenagers were found not guilty, which may have been largely due to the fact that no witnesses wanted to come forward, as the judge in the case would even note that had this not been the case, the outcome might have been very different. For example, as T-Wiz's sister would later tell VE Media, her brother, who had supposedly witnessed at least part of the attack, would refuse to testify during the trial, despite seemingly being the key witness.
My brother, the one that found him, was meant to be being a witness. How can you ask him to be a witness? He just, like, you know, there's no way he's going to be in the same courtroom as the person that he saw. You know what I mean? And that was as a big ask, you know? So we didn't even want to ask him. It's more of a, we can see he's not going to do it, you're not going to ask him. That's just crossing boundaries. Do you know what I mean? And he's the only one that was there, like, to literally say everything to the T. And there's no way I feel like that's, even now, I don't even wish he did that. Why am I asking you to do that? As a sibling, that's a heavy ask, you know?
After his release, T. Rose wouldn't simply take the win and continue his life, as he was an aspiring rapper and now seemingly saw these events as his chance to get some more attention in the drill scene. And in January 2018, he would drop a song called No Lie under his rap name Terror RL, together with a highly disrespectful music video where he would essentially reenact the murder of T. Wiz, while starting his verse by dissing 156, which is an alliance between 3 different gangs, one of them being the N gang that T. Wiz was part of, and saying how his ops can get hit like Wiz and that you can't run from him because he moves quick, before later in the song practically confessing the murder several times, like rapping how all his ops know how he put a man's name on television. However, as a side note, T-Wiz's alleged killer T. Rose would eventually receive a similar fate to his alleged victim, because on October 2020, T. Rose will be gunned down in an assassination-style drive-by shooting all the way in Telford, where he had reportedly moved to escape his past life. Shockingly, as the police would eventually work to solve this particular case, they would arrest one of T-Wiz's brothers and his cousin as suspects in the murder, which had allegedly been planned out for a long time and involved 16 trips to Telford, including 4 unsuccessful murder attempts and numerous car swaps and burnings in order to hide evidence. But interestingly, these arrests would only take place in 2024, but in the 2023 interview with VE Media, T-Wiz's sister, who was seemingly unaware of the revenge plot, would say things that many people would later take as further evidence that some people in her family were indeed more interested in street justice than legal justice.
The outcome could have been different if people were willing to testify, but there was barely anyone willing to testify on that day.
Firstly, my family didn't want him arrested. Well, it was half. It was politics within the family. Half of them wanted street revenge and the other half wanted justice from the court. Like me, I don't know. To personally, even if you got life, I wanted him dead anyway. So, like, do you know what I mean? It's just not, you kill someone, you need to die too. You don't need to go to jail for the rest of your life, you need to die.
We can debate that.
No. If you kill someone, you need to die.
But anyway, T. Rose wasn't the only one dissing
that.
Someone you need to revenge. Well, it was
to testify.
She wanted that boy inside that mud.
Or willing to testify.
She wanted that, man. She said, you better go get that nigga. If you don't get that nigga, you a bitch. Basically what I'm hearing, she said, you better go slide on them ops, nigga. She told her, better go slide on ops right now. I need that op drop right now. Damn, that sister crazy. That's one crazy ass sister. My sister wanted to say that shit.
Barely anyone willing to testify on that day.
Firstly, my family didn't want him arrested. Well, it was half. It was politics within the family. Half of them wanted street revenge and the other half wanted justice from the court. Like me, I don't know. To personally, even if you got life, I wanted him dead anyway. So, like, do you know what I mean? It's just not, you kill someone, you need to die too. You don't need to go to jail for the rest of your life, you need to die.
We can debate that.
No. If you kill someone, you need to die.
But anyway, T. Rose wasn't the only one.
You kill someone, you need to die too. You don't need to go to jail for the rest of your life. You need to die.
We can debate that.
No. If you kill someone, you need to die.
But anyway, T-Rose wasn't the only one dissing T-Wiz in music, because all the way back in Ladbroke Grove, 1011 members would begin to participate in the dissing heavily. This is because 1011 had become close with T-Rose's gang in Rayners Lane, and already in July 2017, when T-Rose was still locked up awaiting trial, Digger would—
Nigga, man. That's why your brother got fucked over. Pause. Nah, what you getting mad with police for, man? That's what they there for, bro. They trying to stop. They trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Why you getting mad with theirs? Why don't you get mad with the nigga that stabbed your brother, bitch? Go get that nigga, man. That nigga was looking shocked, all scared, like, oh, I don't know what to do, bro. That boy froze up in them boots quick, bitch. That boy said, no, I don't want that work, bitch. Let me alone, bro. That nigga didn't want that. He said, let me the fuck alone, bro. I don't want that, bro. That motherfucker keep me out of that shit, bro. And that nigga brother got fucked over. God damn, boy. Got shanked in the shit.
was then taken to a hospital where his lungs was pulled out and Central C's brother was stabbed. As the police arrived to the scene, they would begin to assist him.
What the fuck that was iron, man?
Approached by two males. One of
like, hey, you from them niggas from that side over there. You from that side? You claim that side? Oh, you gonna get shanked up. I think that's what happened. It's cause they live over there. Just cause they live over there, they got fucked over, bro. Them niggas said, you from that side, so I'm finna shank shit up. We going worldwide. That nigga didn't give a fuck.
Whom was allegedly Digger D himself. A verbal altercation would take place between the parties before a knife was pulled out and Central C's brother was stabbed. As the police arrived to the scene, they would begin to assist his brother, who appeared to be partially slumped and in danger of going unconscious. Cench himself would first act hostile towards the police, and nobody would provide any details of what happened at the scene. Central C's brother was then taken to a hospital where his lungs were treated.
That shit crazy, man. I don't give no fuck about that, bro. Jesus. It's that boy leaking in them streets. Got low, man. Damn, boy. How you do that? Your brother got fucked over in the end, bro. Hell no. I don't understand that, bro. You left your brother in them streets looking mammy. Nah, he was there, but goddamn, boy, that boy didn't have no weapons, nothing. They was not ready for that ambush. That boy was not ready for that at all. That boy wasn't on that type of timing at all, man. I think that in politics, bro. His brother got shanked. I was getting politics too, though, bro. That's my brody, man. You got my bro fucked up? Oh, we going to war, bitch. You got me fucked up, man. Had to pay the price for me, died up on that mic. Got it from the smoke, never started every time, but I meditate. I was trying to find a way, he get the red pack. Niggas trying to pay the set of us, but we not the same. Really cut from a different client, I know stay skin. This ain't no fake shit. Hell is such a fun and better days.